You turn on your smart TV to watch a movie. You don't log into anything. You don't type a password. You just press the power button and start scrolling. But the moment that screen lights up, your television already started reporting back. Not just what you chose to watch, but every single thing that passes across that screen, frame by frame, for as long as it stays on. Most people assume a TV is a one-way device. You watch it, it doesn't watch you back. That assumption is no longer true, and it hasn't been true for years. Here's what is actually happening inside a modern smart TV. Nearly every set sold in the last decade includes a feature most owners have never heard of, called Automatic Content Recognition, or ACR. ACR works by taking constant snapshots of what's displayed on your screen, whether that's a cable broadcast, a streaming show, a video game, or even a DVD from your shelf, and matching those snapshots against a massive database to identify exactly what you're watching in real time. It doesn't matter what device is feeding the picture to the screen. If it shows up on your TV, ACR will see it. Why would a television manufacturer want that? Because the television itself is often sold as a thin margin or even at a loss. The real business model for a lot of smart TV brands isn't the hardware, it's the data. Knowing exactly what households watch, minute by minute, is worth far more to advertisers than the profit on the TV itself. Does that change how you think about why smart TVs got so cheap? In 2017, this stopped being a theory and became a legal case. The Federal Trade Commission took action against Vizio, one of the largest television manufacturers in the country, and reached a settlement over exactly this practice. Vizio's televisions had been using automatic content recognition to collect viewing data from millions of households, tracking what was on the screen second by second, and selling that information to advertisers, all without meaningfully telling customers it was happening. Vizio paid $2.2 million to settle the case, but the fine was almost beside the point. The bigger story was what the case revealed. A major manufacturer had built television watching surveillance directly into the hardware as a standard feature and had been doing it for years before anyone outside the company knew. And Vizio was not unique. It was simply the company that got caught first. Television screens are only part of the picture. Many smart TVs also come with voice remotes, built-in microphones, or built-in cameras for video calling. In 2015, Samsung found itself in a similar controversy after people actually read the fine print of its smart TV privacy policy. Buried inside, it was a warning that if you use voice commands, whatever you say near the television, including sensitive personal conversations happening nearby, could be captured and transmitted to a third-party service that converts speech to text. Samsung had technically disclosed it, but almost nobody had read it. The idea that a living room conversation could end up processed by a company you've never heard of simply because the TV happened to be listening for a wake word is the kind of detail most people never consider before they bring one of these devices into their home. So what actually happens to all this collected information once your television gathers it? Researchers at Princeton University spent months studying exactly that question. In a peer-reviewed study examining the tracking behavior of streaming devices and smart TVs, researchers including Arvind Narayanan and his colleagues found an entire ecosystem of data sharing operating behind the scene. Viewing data collected through ACR was frequently sent not just to the TV manufacturer, but onward to a web of advertising and analytics companies most consumers had never heard of and never agreed to share anything with. The researchers described a tracking ecosystem so layered that even technically sophisticated users had no real way to see the full picture of where their data was actually going once it left the television. Think about what that means in practice. Every show you watch, every channel you flip past, every late night you spend scrolling through a streaming app instead of sleeping, all of it becomes a data point, folded into a profile used to predict what advertisements are most likely to make you buy something. Does the TV need to know all of that just to show you a picture? It doesn't. It collects it because it can, and because that data has become valuable enough to justify collecting. Here's the part that makes this especially difficult to opt out of. Unlike a phone app you can simply delete, a smart TV is usually the only television you own. Turning off tracking often means digging through several layers of confusing settings menus, sometimes losing access to features you actually want, like voice search or personalized recommendations. Many manufacturers make the opt-out intentionally difficult to find, because the advertising business built around your viewing habits depends on most people never turning it off. And this is not limited to smart TVs sold as smart TVs. Streaming devices, the small boxes and sticks people plug into an older television specifically to avoid buying a new smart one, often run the exact same tracking software. Plugging a streaming stick into a so-called dumb television does not necessarily make it dumb again. It just moves the tracking from the television itself to the box sitting next to it. For most people, the consequence of this is fairly mundane. More targeted ads, a slightly uncanny feeling when an advertisement seems to know exactly what you were just watching. But the underlying issue is bigger than any single annoying ad. It is the normalization of a device sitting in the most private room of your house, quietly building a permanent record of your habits, your schedule, and sometimes your conversations, and sending that record to companies you never chose to do business with. So what can you actually do about this? The first step is to go directly into your television settings and look for automatic content recognition. Depending on the brand, it may be labeled ACR, viewing data, interest-based advertising, or something similarly vague. Turn it off. This alone stops the television from analyzing and reporting what's displayed on the screen. The second step is to review your microphone and camera settings if your TV has a voice remote or built-in camera. Most models let you disable the microphone entirely or require a manual button press before it listens for anything, instead of listening continuously in the background. Turn off always on listening if that option exists. The third step applies if you use a streaming stick or a box instead of a built-in smart TV app. Check that device's privacy settings separately from the television itself, since it usually runs its own independent tracking system layered on top of whatever the TV is already doing. And the fourth step is simply to treat your television the way you'd treat any other connected device in your home. It's not just a screen anymore. It's a networked computer with a camera, a microphone, and a business model that depends on knowing what you do in your own living room. You turn on your smart TV to watch a movie. You don't log into anything. You don't type a password. But now you know that screen has been logging you the entire time. And the next time you reach for the remote, you'll know exactly where to look before you press play.